Hello, I'm Grace Noel, mixed media fine artist and installation artist. We're here in my studio in the Art District on Santa Fe at Denver Art Society in the Underground Studios. Today I'm going to show you how to make your art piece gallery ready so that when you go to a gallery to hang your first show, you'll be prepared and can hang your art the night that you're curating. So I'll introduce the tools that I'm going to use today. I have my artwork right here. I actually like to put my hanging wire on at the beginning of my artwork because I use a system where when I'm painting it, I'll put it on a drying rack to dry. And my drying rack is vertical so that I know how the piece is going to look on the wall at all times. So I process my art on a vertical drying surface, and here we're doing the same thing with this beginning stages of this artwork. I've done the drawing now, and I've burned the drawing into the wood. This is a metal tiger from my Chinese Zodiac 5-element series. Being metal, the 5 elements are metal, water, a wood, fire, and earth. So I have 5 tigers that I've drawn. This is the metal tiger. And you can see on the back that it's blank, and I left it that way specifically for this video so that you can see how we put a hanging wire on there and how to make your art gallery ready. I said that I did this at the beginning, but it's going to affect it as the end product. So either way you like to do it, you can do it at the end too. It's just my process to do it at the beginning. Okay, so here's my blank panel on the back. Doesn't have a hanging wire yet. And then one thing that you really need to have when you are submitting your artwork to a gallery is contact information. So I ordered a bunch of business cards that I just didn't like the way they looked, but I realized that like I could use them, I could still use them. So I have a business card here. These are my business cards that I usually give out, but I didn't like the back, the way the back of the card looked. So I was like, well, I'll just use it as a tag for my contact information because that's all still on there. I am using those. I use those on the back of my artwork. So I have this to make sure I have all my contact info that the gallery will need for my returning my art to me or selling it or promoting it or anything like that. They need this information. I have on here the physical address of where they can find and send artwork. I have my social media accounts that they can find and sell artwork to or send artwork to. And then I also have my website and my email address. So all of those are real applicable, and of course phone numbers are a little bit more sensitive now these days, so I don't include that on my business card, but I do include it on like my paperwork or contract that I sign with the gallery, so then they'll have it there. And then in addition, all of this information is stuff that the buyer is going to want too. So whoever purchases your artwork is going to want all of this information as well. So make sure to include that on the back of your artwork. I also just made these fun stickers to go with each one of my, as like a label to go on all of my artwork. So I have these I like to put on my artwork as well. And then I have, I'll use a pen for marking the space that we're going, for marking the location of the hanger, where the hanger is going to go. I have a measuring tape here, has my initials on it right there, and just a 9-foot measuring tape. It's a little baby measuring tape because I'm out and about usually in the gallery helping install the artwork too, so this one fits nicely just in my my small pockets because girl clothes don't really have pockets. So this is a good easy one to use. I have a drill too. I use a drill. I want to preserve my hands and my wrists, so instead of like just hand cranking it with a screwdriver, I use a drill, and I use a Phillips bit too, right there. Then I bought this little kit off of Amazon. It has in it has these little D-ring and screw that goes with it. And these can be called mirror hangers too. And I just bought a bunch of them because, well, this series that the Tiger is part of is supposed to be 60 paintings. So 5 elements times 12 signs, 60 paintings. So I just buy it in bulk because I'm a full-time artist. I just buy my supplies in bulk. So we're going to be using those. It's very common to also see the eyelets that have a screw thread at the end and then a loop, and then you screw that eyelet into the wood to attach your hanging wire. I used to use those as well. I just didn't like the end product, and if I had to, and how it affected the way that the piece hung. And so we'll get into that later on. But they are a more affordable option if you want to use them. And then there is hanging wire. I just, again, buy a big spool of it because I use it a lot. I'm always putting hanging wires on my art and have been for years. So I've just committed to buying a big amount of it. This is also like coated too. It's the coated wire. And I like this because it doesn't fray. When wire frays, it gets pokey, and then you can poke yourself, and then you have to deal with a little cut for a while. Don't like that, and it's a super soft and super finger friendly. So I always use gloves when I'm preparing a hanging wire because I just do it a lot, and I gotta protect my hands. And I just like the quality and characteristics of the coated wire. This is also 43 pounds, which is pretty much overkill for this, but it will like help like a wide range of artwork. So I'm doing, this is like 8 inches by 10 inches. And sometimes I work, I also really like to work in 2 foot by 4 foot. So then that's actually where this wire does come in handy, is those 2 foot by 4 foot panels get to be heavy. So I just buy a wire that'll really go the distance with me, a wide range of weights, because I am buying a lot of it and I want to be able to make use of that purchase. So now we'll move on to putting a hanging wire on our metal Tiger here, and I'm gonna just step over and grab some gloves real quick. Okay, so as a demo of the gloves I like to use, they're just these gardening gloves that have the rubber lining. This is so that I get better grip. And I'm always using my hands, and you know, it's just a way to protect them and make sure they're around for the long haul. So I wear gloves to do this task. Oh, one last thing that I forgot to mention too was when that I adhere my business card with this type of glue. It's Scotch High Performance Repair Glue, and I pretty much just fell in love with this glue when I was using it on metal, and it worked pretty well, and it was easy to work with, and the applicator here, this little spout, has been just like, lets me get into tiny little spots. So I just ended up like using it and kind of not going away from it. So if you have a product you like, go for it, but this is the glue that I use. Okay, so oh yeah, and I'll introduce my camera here. I have my other camera to give us a like top-down angle from above so that you can get a better view of what's going on over here. So because of that camera, I actually will flip everything like this. And where we're going to start is measuring out where a hanger is going to be. Here I've decided to do 4 inches, and so I'll draw a line there. And I will draw a line on the other side as well. Here's 4 inches on that side. And then I will take my thumbtack that I have right here. This is my easy way to create a pilot hole for my screws, and I will just push that into the center of the frame. Here I'm going right into the center, there and there. If you're working with a type of panel or material like a vinyl or a plastic, like you're gonna definitely want to do a pilot hole. Wood can be more forgiving, but or let's see here, I'll keep the thumbtack in view since it is part of what we're using. But yeah, for any other material, you absolutely want to make sure that you have a pilot hole to be able to put in your screw. So there's that. These are the mirror hangers that I purchased to use as a hanging device or hanging wire. Here I'm going to, I can see my pilot hole there, so I'm going to stick the very pointy part of the screw into the pilot hole, and then here we go. And then start drilling in. See, it's still pretty loose, so that one's doing well. Then I have the other setup here on the other side, and am going to drill that in as well. The pilot hole helps stabilize the screw, but that will happen for sure, that the drill will be more powerful and destabilize the screw quickly. Don't worry, just try it again, and more gentle. There you go. We just got to get it to bite into the wood a little bit. There you go. There it is in there now. That's still pretty loose, which is good. That's what I want. My wire right now is not ideal length. It's almost there. Like, that is almost your ideal length right there, because you could wrap it around, but I want a little bit more. So I'm going to just unwind it out of my spool here, and actually don't need to unwind it much because I'm so close to my ideal length. So I'm going to actually just probably cut it like right there. And these are old wire cutters, so they take a little bit of effort, but they will work. And then put this back through to secure it for the next panel that is going to receive its hanging wire. And then I have, we'll loop this through once, just to try to measure it out. See, I have so much left on that side, so I can still keep measuring out there. And then I will loop it through again here just once, so that they're about even, but they're not, right? So here I can just keep bringing them closer together like that. And this is a good amount of wire here. I've got about 2 inches on both ends. And so now that it's about equal, I'm going to loop it through a second time to really tighten it up. And there we go. And then do that on the other side too, so they're tightened at the same length from each other. And remember, this is my top up here, so I don't really want to test it yet because they're not super tight. And then I just wrap the wire, coil it around the back onto itself to tighten it down. And then I'll do that on the other side too. It goes very quickly. And this is the part that I really like gloves for, because these little ends will fray and they'll poke you, and then your hands will end up getting cut up, and that's not fun, especially if you're trying to keep your artwork clean and nice presentation. So then here's where I will do a little tug just to make sure that that's nice and tight, and I've got a good picture hanger there. So then in addition, I will put my I'll put my contact information, my business card here, put some glue on the back, put the lid back on the glue. Whoopsies. There's that for you. And like to put that information there in the center. And then I will grab a label, and so I have a whole stack of them here. And then also, I just cut my fingernails so that it's hard for me to peel it off. Of course. But there, that's coming apart now. And these are super fun and shiny labels. I like them because my artwork's all about rainbows anyway, so we might as well get some iridescent rainbowy labels for it. And then I just center it right above the business card there. It's still a little off, so we'll do like maybe just a little bit over like that, or like that. There it is, and put that in like that. And that's how you put a wire on the back. The gallery is dealing with lots of artists, and especially if it's an open resource gallery like the Denver Art Society is. I've been here, and I've been, there's been thousands of artists here. Thousands of artists have come through and started and pursued their art or creative endeavors here at the Denver Art Society. So I am, and I've been familiar with the back end and curation and hanging and all of that stuff, so that I know I know what it's like to have artwork actually get abandoned at a gallery, and then you don't have any contact information or anything to get that artwork back to somebody, or if they come looking for it, you don't know where to start because it didn't have any contact info on it. So just make sure that you have your contact info on your artwork, you label it, because the buyer is going to want that information too. So it's just great for everybody to have. And then everybody's going to want you to have a wire, including the buyer is going to want this as well. They're going to like having that and that you've installed it on your piece. But to show you the back now, this is where we're at compared to where we were. And here's our tiger, so it'll hang. Now I'm like letting it rest on my thumb, and it'll hang now there. And I can begin painting it. The next step, as you can see that with one of the other tigers, this is the wood tiger, the wood element tiger, that it has tape around it. And I use tape around the edges to just preserve the edges. This is a habit from art school that I picked up, just because when I'm painting it and I take the tape off, I don't want to have like chunks of paint on the side, because when you go to frame it later and there's a chunk of paint there, and either if you yourself are doing the framing or you're hiring someone to do the framing for you, they're going to have to scrape that off, and they're going to have to figure out how to get rid of it. And if it's really on there, it's going to damage your artwork. So like me, I work with a beeswax paint called encaustic. So if that is not, if the edges aren't protected from that paint on there, it's actually really hard to get it off later. And I learned that one the hard way. So that's why I just was like, okay, before I start doing any painting, I also tape the sides of my painting. So I have that tape here. It's just that blue edge lock, advanced edge lock tape. I prefer this tape. I definitely use this kind of tape, this blue painter's tape, specifically this brand, because if I get the discount version, I have had it in the past where I went to go take that tape off later, and it was a nightmare. It was a nightmare to get that tape off, and I couldn't do it. So this tape has always come off if I need it to come off, Even if it's years down the road, it just comes off seamlessly. Or if it gives me a little bit of trouble, it's not a lot of effort. It's very easy to take off later. So I know it's more expensive than the discount version because I've done it, but I really recommend this kind. And then for this, I have these panels are 1.5 inches, so this is the 2-inch tape so that I can span that distance. So yeah, that's my tutorial on how to put a hanging wire on the back of a piece of artwork. It is pretty involved and it does require a significant amount of tools and supplies. So you can also always check with the gallery that you're planning to hang your artwork at and see if they can show you or if they have the supplies there. Please check in advance though, because they often will expect your work to be ready to hang. And that's why I was inspired to make this video, is so that you could prepare yourself when you are getting ready to go to any gallery and make sure that you arrive with what galleries are expecting, that contact information and the hanger. So now your art is ready to hang. Thank you so much for stopping by the studio today, and I look forward to seeing you here in person. You can follow me on social media through Instagram at gracenoel.art, on Facebook, Grace Noel Art. My website is gracenoel.art. If you would like to sponsor my artwork, you can go to my website, gracenoel.art/sponsor. Until next time, remember that we are all made out of sunshine. Sunshine makes the plants grow, the water flow, and the wind blow. And so now and every day is an opportunity to go on a magical journey through the rainbow.